Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. وكفى وسلام على عبادي الذين اصطفى أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. My honorable elder and younger, my dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today is our topic also MEESAAQ-I-MADINAThe, the multilateral agreement for peaceful coexistence. In this regard, part 2 will be described now. My dear brother and sister, in MEESAAQ-I-MADINAThe, there were almost 53 clauses. First clause declares that the believer are one community, Ummatul Wahida, distinct from the rest of the people. Clauses 2 to 10 pertain to the believers belonging to the Quraysh of Makkah, Muhajirs, and those belonging to Banu, house of Al-Haris, Saida, Jusham, An-Nijar, Umar bin Auf, and Nabith and Aus, permitting each of them to settle according to their respective customs, cases relating to ransom for the slain and those taken as prisoner, emphasizing the need in each case for a just and a righteous behavior. Clause 11 contain a very human provision to the effect that in no case the believers shall leave any indignant believer or a believer burdened with a large family and thus unable to meet his obligations without necessary help and assistance to enable him to discharge his obligation concerning ransom. Clause 12 lays down that no believer shall conclude an agreement or enter into an understanding with a client, charge or subordinate of another believer without the latter's permission. Clause 13 requires God-fearing believer to be ever ready to take action against any person who may be found guilty of aggression, subversion, or seduction. The believer shall all raise their hands together in striking down such a person, no matter he may happen to be a son of one of them. Clause 14 forbids a believer from slaying another believer at the instance of or for the sake of a non-believer, not to support a non-believer against a believer. Clause 15 provides that even if the humblest of believers were to promise relief or protection to someone it shall become binding on the whole community of the believers. It is so because that believers are like brothers to each other. Clause 16. Enjoin a wholesome moral and social discipline upon the believer in favor of their antagonists. It requires that such of the Jews as many undertake to abide by the term of the agreement shall not be discriminated against in the matter of help or protection. Clause 17 lays down that the believer shall gently negotiate and or conclude a peace treaty on terms fair to all and which shall be equally applicable to all. It forbids a believer to conclude a separate peace living aside the other believers. Clause 18 require joint action for defense in case of attack, in case of an attack. Clause 19 concede the right to claim qisas, requital reprisal for loss of life or limb suffered in the service of Allah Almighty. Clause 20 extols piety, faith, and righteousness. It declares in plain words that God-fearing believers are the best among the people and are on the most righteous and straight path. My dear brother and sister, part 2 will be described on the other day. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.